to my channel. In today's video, we're going to try to get the gauges hooked up in the Maverick. And I have all my parts for my 5-lug swap, so I'm going to go ahead and get that started, and hopefully we can finish up both things, the gauges and the actual the 5-lug swap today. So let's get started. All right, so just finished plumbing the coolant temp sensor and the oil pressure sensor, and I just got to connect them to the gauges inside of the car. Hurricane Helena just went through not too long ago, so the power just came back on in the shop, so I got up to a late start. So I'm gonna finish this up tomorrow, and hopefully I can do the 5-lug swap tomorrow also. So didn't really get any damage, just a lot of flooding. As you can see, water all in the shop up under my car, but other than that, everything was pretty calm here, except for a lot of high winds. So, but I got that plumbed in. That's one of the major things that I needed to get done, so I can idle the car a little bit longer, put some transmission fluid in it, and just kind of get an overall sense of how things is going with the car. All right, well, I'll pick up on this tomorrow. Okay, so I got my wires connected for the gauge. Just got the black, all the grounds connected. This is just for the lights for the gauge. All the blacks are grounds, and I extended that, and the red is just 12-volt power. So again, that's for the lights on the gauge. Okay, it took me longer than I would like, but I finally got the gauges wired up, and I just got it going right now to a little pigtail, and I'm getting ready to tie it into the car. Try to use different colors. The green ones is going to the actual sensors and sending units, and of course the red is 12-volt positive, and the blacks are ground. All right, so let me go ahead and get this wired into the car. All right, so I got my gauges wired in. I'm probably gonna mount it right beside the radio right here. So nothing is permanent right now, because just like I said, I have to put the tray and everything back in it, but I'll show you that they work. Let me see if I can turn the light off on camera. All right, see they light up. I have an oil leak right there. Let me zoom in. It looked like it's coming from the sensor. I didn't put any thread sealant on it or any Teflon tape, because it said it grounds to the block. So it said do not put any kind of paste or any tape on there. But I'm gonna have to somehow figure it out, because it's definitely leaking oil. If you look down here, you can see it. It's definitely leaking oil out of that spot. So I got to figure out how to ground that sensor in a different way, or I just have to come up with something. So what I'm about to do now is go ahead and take this oil pressure sender off and put Teflon tape all around it and connect it back. Okay, so I put thread sealer on it, and that should have did it. What I noticed is it was cracked. I cracked the fitting when I was putting it in, so I changed the fitting out. So hopefully the leaks was just coming from the fitting. So, but we'll see. I'm getting ready to fire it up, and we'll see. All right, so let me try to fire it up and see if I can work with the high idle a little bit. Make sure the oil pressure is still working. Voltage gauge is up. And I pulled off this drum, so I'm getting ready to do the 5-lug swap, see what it all consists of, and I guess I'll come back to this video once I figure this one side out, and I'll kind of explain to you how I did it when I get ready to go to the other side. Okay, so I got the drum and hub and everything off. So what I'm going to do now is, before I start putting on the parts, I'm just going to clean up all the stuff. It's a whole bunch of caked up dirt on it. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it up and paint it up and make it look better. Alright, so I got everything off. What I'm doing now is just cleaning up. I got some Awesome in a jug and my little Harbor Freight engine cleaner. And I'm just going to spray to try to get all the rest of this dirt off. One thing about using that engine cleaner, I don't know if you can see it, but it puts a little fine mist in the air. And when using Awesome, I know it can't be good to breathe that stuff in, so I'm coming outside the shop to give myself a little breather. But basically what I gotta do now is put some water in the jug and pretty much spray everything off. Okay, this thing does a really good job when you can't get a traditional pressure washer in. As you can see right here, I just gotta let everything dry, but it does a good job with getting all the dirt and grease and stuff off. So while this is drying, I'm gonna go over to the other side and start taking that one apart and pretty much doing the same thing as this side. This side has all the original drum brake stuff, hardware in it. And the other side, somebody had removed all that, so it kind of made my job a little bit easier. So now I just got to take these brake shoes off and repeat what I did on the other side. Alright, so while the other side was, I'm waiting on it to dry, I washed it up. I came back over to the driver's side and I painted everything black. Again, it looks brown inside of the video, but it's bed liner paint, so it's going to dry. It's going to look black once it's done. Alright, let me go back to the other side and finish rinsing it off. Okay, so I got both sides off, got everything painted. I just loosened up the brake lines right here on both sides. I just got to take these old lines off and replace them with the new lines that came with the kit. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and take this bracket off to get the old brake line off, and I think I'm gonna run some fluid through it to kind of flush out the lines before I put the new ones on. Alright, so I got the brake kit laid out, and this is for the 5-lug swap in the front, if I haven't mentioned it 100 times yet. But I got everything laid out, all the parts here. It looked like it should be pretty simple to put on. Only thing I'm a little concerned about is if I should have kept the bolts from my old one. But we'll find out. If I come up a bolt or two short, now I just might have to run up to the store and grab some. But that's the kit. And I'll put a link in the description to where you can get this kit for. It's specific for a 1970 to 77 Maverick, I think. So, but he makes them for different things also. Okay, so I just pulled the cap off the master cylinder, and I'm gonna let you look inside of it. That looks awful. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get a new master cylinder. I'm gonna go ahead and break these lines loose and go ahead and take it off and get a new master cylinder. That shouldn't stop any progress right now, because I can go ahead and get all the hardware and everything put on and just come back with the new master cylinder afterwards. But I do not want to get all that junk down in my brakes. So All right, so this kit seems like it's going to be super easy to put on. He marked every piece, so this is the left side and it needs to be facing forward. And just like I said, I put those 4 bolts on, then I'll put the spindle on it. So I'll once I tighten these bolts up, I'll come back and put the spindle on, and pack it with grease, and then get this nut put on it. It just, like I said, it just seems super easy. So, and he also sent instructions, but if you kind of know what you're doing, you probably won't even need the instructions. Okay, so you saw where I packed the bearings and I actually put the seal on the back of it, and I just slid it over the spindle. So what I'm about to do now is go ahead and get this nut on there, get it tightened up, and I'm going to squirt some grease inside of there before I put the cap over it. Alright, got the bolt tightened up and got the cotter pin in there. And just like I said earlier, I'm going to go ahead and repack that and put the cap back on it. Alright, so got that packed and getting ready to tap the cap over it. It spins freely. So. Alright, cap is on. Now I'm getting ready to put the rotor over it and then put the caliper on. I got the rotor on now. I just got to get the caliper put on to kind of hold it there. And then I can go ahead and hook up the brake hose, but I'm not going to connect the brake hose right there because like I said earlier on, I'm gonna have to replace my master cylinder, and I still want to flush the lines out when I put my new master cylinder on. So alright, so the brake kit that I use is not considered a big brake kit, which is the rotor is kind of small. And the reason why I did this is because with this kit, you can return it back to, or not return it back to, if you wanted to run 4-lug on it, you can. All the hardware is still there. But if you want to run 14-inch wheels or 15-inch wheels and you don't like the size wheels that I chose, then you can always just put the regular 15-inch wheels back on it without having to change anything. So that's why I chose this brake kit. Everyone doesn't like 18-inch wheels on their car or 20-inch wheels or everything, on everything basically. So this gives you the option to actually go back down to 15-inch wheels for the old school look, if that's what you want. Remember, this car is for me to sell, so I'm making it as universal as possible. Alright, taping up the caliper because I'm going to paint it red because that's what I like to do. So everything taped up and capped off. So I'm going to take it outside and paint it, and while it's drying, I'm going to go ahead and start the passenger side. Alright, first coat is on. And what I'm going to do, like I said, it's a real thin light coat. I will go ahead and start the spindle and stuff on the passenger side while this is drying. And in the middle, I'll come out and spray the second coat on. Alright, so this is the second coat. I put it on nice and thick. So this may be the last coat that I use because I'm going to go over it with a clear coat as well. Okay, caliper is on. And now I'm getting ready to go do the other side. Everything went together. I just had to do a minor modification to the brake hose. I had to grind some off to get it to fit down in that little slot. But other than that, everything was fine. Everything worked out, man. It looks good. Alright, passenger side is all done. And I'm about to test the wheel on it now to make sure I got clearance and everything. This video turned out to be a pretty long video. I did my coolant gauges, I did the 5-lug swap on the front, and I test fitted the wheels and everything. And I also fixed the leak on the oil pressure sender for the gauge. You see my gauges was working. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video right now. Click on that subscribe button, that like button, and click that notification bell, because you don't want to miss how this Maverick is gonna look. And I'm getting ready to go get the wheels mounted right now. So in the next video, I'm gonna be working on the brakes and trying to figure out the shifter level. So again, click that notification bell, click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.